So, on one side, the fintechs, we are trying to build better experiences, better products, make it cheaper, faster, more convenient, easy to use. And then basically, what we need is the other side, right? Like people to know that we exist. So, very, very, very few people go and say, "Yay, it's Sunday. I'm going to manage my finances. I'll go to my Excel." Woo! Like, I don't know anyone who does that.
Hello and welcome to the Money Mindset Show, the place where we help female entrepreneurs to transform their mind so that they can achieve financial success in the least amount of time. Here, we talk about subconscious mind, we talk about money mindset shifts, money mindset blocks, a strategy so that you can bypass your own money mindset and increase your income, better your relationship with money, and grow your business. Okay, but before I let you into today's episode, come here. Be honest with me. How many times have you found yourself doing the extra thing, going the extra mile because you really, really want this goal, but the financial results are nowhere to be seen? You know you want your financial independence, but yet you find yourself spending more time and effort and money into crafting the perfect social media strategy, thinking what caption should I write, what picture should I post, when should I post it, instead of looking at the things that really matter with money. The exact same loop that I have seen hundreds of my clients throughout the years getting stuck. And the reason is one and one only. The type of habits that are driving your life, these habits are the leader of your show, of your business, and we have to stop them. The way that you do that is by adapting new ones. I have put together for you the top 5 financial habits for exponential growth with your business for you to download right now. Go to themoneymindset.com/5. That is the money mindset hub hub.com/5 and download this top 5 financial habits for exponential growth specifically for founders. Again, that is the money mindset hub hub.com/5. Today we have Monika Mijadis. She's a product leader in financial well-being and a diversity advocate who has spent the last decade building great product in the fintech space. She believes in the future of fintech is to make fintech more human. I am looking forward to this episode, Moni, because Monica, first, she's a Latina on fintech, which is now we are seeing more and more and more, but it is actually very rare that we have that combination, women, Latina in fintech. She's one of the leaders in this. She has an amazing podcast that I would get into it on the episode. But the reason why I wanted Monica to come in the show, in the Money Mindset show, is because you, just like me, have the same kind of view of finances, whether it's in fintech and financial services and whatever, to make it more human. And that to me, it speaks a lot because, people say, well, finances is the less human thing that we can have in the environment. And I remember my first boss when I was just getting into the workforce. It was in a nonprofit, and he asked me, "What do you want to study finances?" And I answered very, honest. I was, I think, 16 at the time when I entered to university. I answered very honestly because I want to help people. I want to really understand how that works and help people. And he looked at me and like, "Girl, you're in the wrong career." And I'm like, "No, I'm not. And I'm going to prove you that I'm not." Welcome, Monica, to the show. Happy to have you here.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Ellie. The
Yeah.
pleasure is all mine.
No, no. Let's get into it, Moni. So tell us a little bit on how did you got to move all the way to Malaysia to continue growing fintech, and why fintech?
So I'm originally from Mexico. Then I moved to the UK when I was in my early 20s to do my master's. And then over the years, this will answer both questions. Like over the years, I always worked in financial services, like in the big
Mm.
banks. I was at Visa, then I was at Barclays. And then 2013, 14, when the new challenger banks, the neo banks, the what we know as today, the fintechs, they were starting in the UK. Then I had the opportunity to jump ships and go from Barclays to let's build a bank from scratch. It was an adventure. It was a
Wow.
startup. It felt like, like in the series, like the
Mm.
Netflix series, I was like, oh, this is so
Yeah.
exciting. And when I left Barclays, my colleagues were like, "Where are you going?" And I was like, "I'm going to a new bank." They're like, "Really, a new bank? What's the name?" I was like, "It doesn't have a name yet." They're like, "Isn't this a scam? Are you sure?" I was like, "Well, they seem like nice guys." And today, of course, like that was Tandem Bank back then. Today, they are profitable. They are a green bank. They are one of the large players in the
Wow.
UK scene as such. But the reason why I joined, this is the how I joined. The why I joined was because the founders back then, they were very focused on solving the pain point. So everyone was like, we're here to help customers have better
Mm.
financial lives. Money is one of the highest sources of stress for people across
Yep.
the world. So we're here
Yep.
to change that. And that's why I kind of went through the safety of a banking corporate job in Barclays to the adventure journey of
Challenge.
building yeah,
Yeah.
building a bank from scratch when fintech was not even a thing. So that's
Wow.
that. And then the
Yeah.
how I ended up in Malaysia was like a few years in the bank. Then basically one day I got a phone call and it was like, hey, we're building this new thing in Malaysia. We want to build one of the, like the first neo banks in the region. We want to be a Southeast Asian base. And I was like, oh my God, this is so exciting. And that's it. And I came to Malaysia to be part of the
Yeah.
Big Pay, which is one of the big players at the moment.
Wow. I mean, first, the idea of building a bank, that is something out of the, yeah, it's just like out of my mind because banks have, like, if you think of bank, you think, I don't know, in the US, JP Morgan, Citibank, all of these massive things, right? That are far from being whatever people think. They will think we need to get on the side of the people. We need to help them. We need to get through. And then you ended up doing this jump to help to build this bank. Now, how you see has been the impact of these new initiatives, of these new banks, of decentralize all of what we used to know as a financial system traditionally.
Yeah, so it's been about 10 years since we launched, and I think the landscape has changed a lot. The industry, we started with a handful of fintechs, and now
Yeah,
there's like hundreds of fintechs across the world. So that speaks on itself, right? And then back then, it was the beginning of the world of APIs as we know them. So, e.g., to be able to connect from one system to another in a very not automated but standard way, let's say. So that
yeah.
changed the game because back then the big banks only mainly had mobile banking, online banking, and then this triggered a healthy competition between the challenger banks, e.g., the new banks, banks on, hey, we need to deliver better customer experience. We need to put the customer at the center of what we do. We need to be transparent. So it's been changing just like the playing field as such.
To the face, to the public. Why is it important? If we are thinking to female entrepreneur, which is the person that listens to this podcast, why is it important that people know that these are the different options that they have, that people know that there is something called fintech that facilitates somehow their lives, especially as a business owners?
Yes, that's a very good question. So it all starts with awareness, right? So, on one side, the fintechs, we are trying to build better experiences, better products, make it cheaper, faster, more convenient, easy to use. And then basically what we need is the other side, right? Like people to know that we exist. So very, very, very few people go and say, yay, it's Sunday, I'm going to manage my finances, I'll go to my Excel. Woo! Like, I don't know anyone who does that.
It
So
doesn't happen like that.
no. So by default, like we don't have the habit of sitting. Most of us don't have the habit of sitting down and managing our finances. We do it on the go. We do it when we can. So all these solutions are designed in principle, like to make it easier and faster and better for us as consumers. So it's just a better alternative that will make your life easier. So for example, you as a mom, you have like so many things going on. The last thing that you want is to be struggling with your bank.
Yep.
These solutions make it easy for you.
Hey, I want to tell you about one of my favorite podcasts. Everyone's talking money. You and I know that I love to talk about money, but it is a subject that we all need to deal with, but most of the people actually never wants to talk about it. This is why I love Everyone's Talking Money, hosted by fellow money expert Shanna Game. Shanna has a point of view I really love, and her way to get complex topics around money so simply explained is amazing. I mean, just in our episode together, Healing Financial Wounds, Addressing the Financial Trauma in BIPOC Communities, the conversation got very, very deep and so useful for everyone listening that I can't wait for you to listen to this episode too. So go ahead and check out Everyone's Talking Money podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you are listening to this podcast. Yeah, oh, I love that, especially because, and here is where the inclusive part comes in, and we're going to talk about Money 2020 in a second, is that it was such a limited view of what a bank should do for the people or what a bank should offer for the people. But now we have female entrepreneurs, we have female working 9 to 5 that are looking for different things, we have mompreneurs, we have, I mean, I need to be able, and you guys know because I have shared with you before, I need to be able to do things from my phone with one hand now that I'm a mom of a 2 months old. Like everything that I can do in a short period of time, 30 minutes from my phone is what I'm going towards that, because otherwise I cannot rely on it. So if my time is limited and I need to manage a business and I need to manage a house and I need to manage a baby, I need to rely on solutions that are looking to provide that for myself. And that's what I love of the whole fintech new wave that is coming. And here I want to know your insight about Money 2020, because I am going in tomorrow. It starts here in Europe, and I've been selected to be in the Amplify group, so the inclusion people of color. Why is so important for us to be on these events, to be where the financial system is being not developed but sharing ideas and exchanging interactions, having this conversation.
Yes, I think it comes back to community and the power of togetherness. So if you think about it, since COVID, like we are all, many of us are working from home. There's less travel, so events like this one allow us to connect, to get to know each other. We finally meet in person, yay! And then that strengthens the relationships that we have, while at the same time it it opens space for serendipities, that you're like everybody is just like in this state of mind of openness and collaboration and learning and possibility, rather than being stuck at home or in the office with the stress of day to day. So when you go there, there's this energy of learning as much as you can, learning from, like listening to what are the trends, what's the latest technology, how can I accelerate my growth. So I think it's important to for everyone to try to put themselves in situations like this, regardless of the industry, It's find a place where there's people who are driven and excited about what you're doing, and then you can co-create share best practice.
And you were speaker or moderator in 2020 Asia. What was the what was important or the main goal for you to as a human being, as a Monica, on this past edition of Money 2020?
Well, I love connecting with people, right? So my intent when I'm going to conferences, well, before I say that, so there's three things I love. I love connecting with people, I love learning, and I love being on stage. That's it. I love it. I
That's
get a
it.
thrill. So basically, if you put me in this environment, it's like I get to do the three of them at the same time. It's like Disneyland. I'm not, oh my God. I get to meet very interesting people. I get to sit down and listen and then learn a ton or just have side conversations. And then it's connecting, it's learning. And I get to do what I love, right? Like I'm on stage either moderating or like being interviewed, whatever it may be. It's just exciting. So for me, there's no specific intent on as a human, I want to get out of this from this
Yeah,
conference. It's more of a, oh my God, this is so fun
it's
and
my
exciting and I love
playground.
it. Yeah, it's my playground. Exactly that.
I love it. I love it. And Money, with your podcast, Fintech with Purpose, what was it important for you to create fintech with purpose? Yes, you are looking to highlight, and I highly recommend you, if you are in the financial industry or want to understand the fintech world, to go and listen to Fintech with Purpose with Monica.
Yeah,
But
purpose driven fintech.
purpose-driven fintech. Why do I have it in my mind? Fintech with purpose,
Oh, but it's
purpose-driven
good.
fintech. To go and listen to it, but why was it important to you to create this specific um, purpose driven fintech? What did you see that made you create that?
Yes. So it's an evolution, right? So the podcast for me started as a COVID project. I didn't know a thing about podcasting. I didn't know a thing about social media. I was just like stuck at home. And as part of that COVID challenge and the tough times, one of my ways to cope was to reconnect with my passions and reconnect with what I loved. One of them was mentoring, was coaching, and then the third one was like, oh, I would love to have a talk show. So that's how the
Love
podcast
it.
started 3 years ago. But it was about women's empowerment. It was about
Yeah.
like my friends, basically. And over time, I started getting feedback on, hey, have you ever considered merging your passion and work? You're good at both. Why don't you? And I was like, no, 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 no. But then I started getting feedback. And over time, I was open to the idea of doing this. But then what drove me to really go for it was two things. One, the podcast was at a stage that I was putting a lot of effort and seeing zero results. And I was like, either I kill it or I go full on. So I decided to go full on. And then the second one, and the reason why it's important to me is back then, 2013, 14 in the UK, when the neobanks, the fintechs were just getting started, all the founders like Monzo, Revolut, Starling, Atom, Tandem Bank, all of them were extremely obsessed about the customer and helping the customer and making it better for them and removing financial stress. And I think given that I've been so long in the industry, basically since it was born, I've seen the evolution. And during these 2 to 3 years, and we had COVID and then we had crypto, I've seen how it started with these core people who were extremely passionate and purpose driven and obsessed about solving a problem to then it became a massive thing, which is amazing. But as part of that, we also had many people getting into crypto, many people losing money, many
Yep.
people getting into it just because of, ooh, these guys are have like big valuations. It's good business. I want to make this. And I was like, it angered me because because that was not the core purpose of
Yeah.
fintech.
Yeah.
So part of me was like, no, 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 no. I need to. be true to the values of fintech. And I think it's important to showcase all the fintechs that are really purpose driven. Not all of them are,
Wow.
but many of them are. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
important to put the message out there again and say, hey, the reason why we exist is to help customers to have better financial lives. Simple.
My God, I have never. Yeah, because that's why fintech exists, because it's for the customer, for the well-being, and for to do something different. My goodness. Okay, this opens up a whole new world for me going into this week with Amplify, especially money because yes, I'm Latina, but I'm Afro Latina, so there is a layer added
Another.
to the whole thing, right? So to me personally, I know that is a possibility of the financial system thinking of inclusivity, thinking on that they are thinking in people like us, but because I have been for so long in the financial system. But if I go and look into my community, the people that I lead, the people that is listening to this podcast, that possibility is not in their minds. And to me, it's just like, no, it's like, what? Why do you believe that? And that's what I call financial trauma, systematic financial trauma. And it is so important like for us to recognize that the whole reason of why our industry was born is because they did see that this was happening, that they did see that is a gap. So I love that you mentioned that. And I want to close this. Wait a second. Where are we? Yeah. Here, I got a question for you. So I want to close with a question that I asked the community and they answer. They want to know if you were to build a new fintech industry from scratch right now, what would be the three things that you would like to see the most?
That could be focus on the customer, focus on the customer, focus on the customer. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. So the first one could be really be empathetic and think about the customer and really understand the customer problems that we're solving for. That is number one. Number two, it's compared to 10 years ago, we need to bake in the profitability since the very beginning. What's the business model? How you're going to get there? How you're going to make money? Because 10 years ago, that was not part of the landscape. Now it is. So that's super important. And number three, I think coming back to you, it's the when we think about the customer, we need to think about the diversity of customers that we have and the
Yep.
diversity of use cases and jobs to be done. So we need to ensure that we're building for everyone. Everyone has
Mm,
financial stress. It doesn't matter that you're super wealthy or you're
yep.
not. Everyone has it. So we need to
Yeah.
think of all types of customers.
Wow, love it. There you go, people. You got your answer. I will add something else to that question that you guys have sent. I'm obviously not as deep in fintech as Monica is, but I do believe from the financial trauma perspective that it's time that we acknowledge that the system has contributed to the financial trauma. And because of it, it is time to understand where we have
Can
caused
you
it.
can you expand what do you refer to as a financial trauma?
Yes. So have you heard about financial trauma before? Okay. So financial trauma is all of the mental and emotional stress that people has gotten on the way of interacting with money or the finances. So it can be systematic financial trauma because you went to open a bank account and they rejected you for X or Y and reason. That created a mental and emotional world there.
Okay.
It can be generational financial trauma. If your family has been adverse to money and you have this anxiety, stress, things around money that mainly comes from your family, it can be contextual. So there is only people triggering that financial trauma because of what they are doing. So female entrepreneurs, I have some people that say in my 9 to 5 job, I never felt anything about money. But as soon as I became an entrepreneur, all of this stress and anxiety and all of these things have been triggered. So everything that had created, it's like a PTSD but with money, basically. Yes. Yeah. So that is to me my vision for fintech, that to acknowledge, okay, here is what we can understand now, what has contributed somehow, let's find another way to do it differently.
Yes.
Oh, Marty, thank you so much for this. Is there anything else that you would like to say to people? And please, please, please invite us to connect with you. I know that I'm connected with you through LinkedIn. That's how I find you. But if you have other social media, please go ahead and share it.
Yes, you can find me on LinkedIn, Monika Millares. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on Spotify, Apple, TikTok, either Moni Millares or just Google Purpose Driven FinTech.
Okay, but before I let you go, did you know that you have a space where your money mindset work is made extra simple so that you can increase your income, better your relationship with money, and grow your business in such a simple and easy way? Go to themoneymindset.hub.com and choose your path and start making those changes easily and effortlessly. That is themoneymindset.hub.com.